Carlos Nelson with Cascade Sports, and today we're going to talk a little bit of Pop Warner football. We have a new league per se emerging, and we've got some of the head coaches. We've got a series coming on featuring some of the head coaches, and we've got a coach that represents the Dynasty. Who do we have here?
Daniel Woodard, go by Coach Wood.
Hey, Coach, tell our audience a little bit about yourself. As I always say, go back to kindergarten, go back to as far as you can remember, and let them know who you are. Talk about some of the mentors that help you develop yourself to where you're at now.
Okay. Yeah, so I was born and raised Kansas City, Missouri, on the east side. Grew up on 43rd Street. Little League, I participated. Originally, I was with the Kansas City Keys, playing basketball. So if you from Kansas City, 80s, 90s, they were definitely prevalent then. But in my adolescence, my father actually got a blessing to start football for the Kansas City Keys. So that's where it started. Murray Woodard, people know him by Big Wood, Coach Kelvin Parker, Coach Wainwright, man, many of the greats, man. I got blessed to be coached by and led by a good group of men. Uh, and so the Lucas brothers can't lead them out, the Beasley brothers. But yes, sir. So yeah, it started there. Um, Played basketball, football. My love was football. That's the one thing that stuck with me. Uh, Ended up graduating from Raytown South. Had a football scholarship. I went to college, playing football. And then that's kind of where my career ended due to injuries. But that passion overall never left. And most of all, those life lessons that I learned, having that village and having those men, I think that was the biggest impact.
Talking about that village and that men, those men in your life. How really important do you feel now that you've been coaching? How First of all, how long have you been coaching?
So honestly, I started coaching when I was a teenager. Another man in my village, Coach Nody Newton, he had a program, the Kansas City Tar Heels at the time. And again, man, it's crucial to have those men because I think I'm currently the age he was when I met him. So he understood what I was going through as a young teen. So he like, hey man, come out here, help me, man. Football, come work with me, come do this, and I would find my ways to wiggle away from him. But so I started that would have been 2008, 2009. Like I said, I was a
What
teenager.
age kids were you working with at that time with Nody?
At that time, that was third, fourth grade boys. Yeah, I
You used
started
to have
started
some
there.
killer basketball squads.
Hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, man, Coach Snowdy didn't play, man, and that's why I say, man, that whole village, man, all those guys. I saw your video with B.J. Jackson, part of my village. My brother grew up with his son. I grew up with his siblings. It was, so this village, it's a beautiful thing. The conversation we're having because a lot of this started way back when for a lot of us. But
Let's talk about Dynasty. Let's talk about what's going down right now. Uh, Talk about
yeah,
your last two seasons.
so
First of all, tell our audience what grade and age group is Dynasty involved with.
so Dynasty Youth Sports Club in football alone, we operate from the ages of 5 through 13. We pride ourselves because we are the largest youth football club in the Midwest region. We didn't plan on it, but again, I think that village, the way we were raised, it just naturally happened that way. We started 5 years ago with 60 boys and 27 volunteers. Fast forward to today, we have 63 volunteers, and we are touching 400 boys coming up on this year. Uh, so, so to backtrack, Dynasty, we're actually a rites of passage program, right? So again, this is the whole impact of those men that I were talking about. What I took away most was that rite of passage, having those men affirm us as we grew up, versus us as youngins, we smell ourselves, we out here trying to find it amongst other ignorant children, right? And we
The
come up with our
blind leading the blind.
there you go. Yes, sir. Right. So yeah, we established ourselves as a rites of passage, and football was just one of the mechanisms to one draw the boys in and also teach these life skills. And so yeah, we started out, like I said, with very few. People even had jokes, those first couple years. However, we were dominant. People had jokes. We started out Pop Warner. We had 5 teams. Every last one of them went to the Super Bowl. In fact, every last one of them won the Super Bowl. The only team that lost to another dynasty team. The league didn't like that too much, right? So fast forward to today, we have 2 Pop Warner National Runner-Up Championships. We have 1 AYF runner-up. We also have 1 D1 Nation runner-up. So last year we ended with 9 teams from ranging from 5 to 13. But all of these boys have tasted the national stage.
And
In
where
fact,
were they playing the national championships and these championships? What cities?
So we were in Atlanta, Georgia, or Norcross, Georgia. That was the D1 Nation. And then Pop Warner took us to Orlando, Florida, and AYF took us to Kissimmee, Florida. So yeah, that's just a little bit of what these babies have earned, man. Because we pride ourselves on you bring us your baby, we're gonna teach them football.
That's what I wanted to get across. That this
Yes,
is
sir.
just not some local.
Yes,
This is
sir.
building character. This is some kids don't leave they block. Less more
Mm-hmm.
travel and get a chance to meet other players and so forth. And this is what the league is about. This is what these teams and these coaches about. All right.
Indeed.
So let's talk about this upcoming season. What you got in the pot for your competitors?
Oh man,
What you got to
it's a
say? And are you gonna sell any Wolf tickets at
oh
all?
no, none whatsoever, man.
All right.
Our brothers in this thing that participate with us, they know we got a few that like to talk this stuff, but I'm silent, and that's when they know.
Time
That's
for
when they know
business.
they better get to work. Yeah, yeah, they better get to work.
What do you have any prospects? Talk about your oldest team. You got eighth graders, right?
Yes, sir. So yeah, that's the woo. It's funny because I mean when we started Dynasty, those boys were 4th graders, 3rd grade, yeah, 4th grade, and so they'll be the first class to age out, right? And they really gonna put us to the test because we got so comfortable. Like I said, it's rites of passage we use in football, um, but to see their growth as young men. We actually call that age group the good guys because nowadays, I mean, football's always been trash talk, but nowadays they do a lot more extra aesthetics. These boys show up, they quiet, they talk with their pads. They were the AYF runner-ups. And they've played all across this country, man. So it's really exciting for these boys to want to stay here because they could go play for their schools, play for free. Those parents could do that, but they love it here, and we love them. So it's gonna be a real exciting year, man, to see these boys play. They last season in a dynasty uniform.
What I want you to do, I want to take a pause because you talked about some of the mentors. Uh, give a couple of words on Coach Calvin Wainwright.
Something something that's never left me. Uh, I ran into him. I got, again, like I said, I wanted to be a knucklehead. Got to running around, and he saw me out. And I'm like, Coach. And he's like, hey, man, come here. Hug me, treated me, and I'm tatted up. I'm thinking I'm a tough guy. He treated me like that 5-year-old boy. He always knew. And he said, how you been doing? And I said, well, Coach, I'm trying. And I've never in all my years had that man look at me the way he did. He stared into my soul. He said, trying. That's your problem right there. You don't try. You just do it. You just do it. And he even said, tell me one time you ever heard a story about Jesus. You can find a story about Jesus. He tried. He did it. Where do you think Nike got it from? Just do it. So Coach Calvin Rainwright, man, that man, if you from Kansas City, you know what the landscape of this city has always been about. And for that man to be a beacon of light, to deal with the roughest, the toughest, and the most loving, like he never shunned anybody, never shunned a kid whatsoever. And he didn't care where you was at. He was gonna meet you there, and he was gonna pull you up. And he always taught
He
us,
just
we
didn't
all
do
got
that for the kids. I've known Calvin since the 70s when I moved
yeah,
here from New York, and he used to play with Charlie Parker, and we
yeah,
used to play over in Rainbow. And he always would be like, Carlos, we sending you back to Jersey. I'd be like, hey man, I'm not from no damn Jersey. I'm from New York. and that was my man. And so when you mention him and Nodi, I think we need to pay homage because Calvin just passed. Because a
indeed.
lot of the coaches in your league and other leagues uh, came through him,
Yes,
and
sir.
are taking pages out of his playbook of life.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. Yeah, I can say even my father, man, he was younger than him, so it's funny to hear the stories. Like you said, back then, because we got we got the leader, the elder, where y'all had the brother, so it's a beautiful thing because again, them choices, and he taught us, man, that no matter your circumstance, you can change that. That's the difference between you and the others, man.
So tell our audience and our parents, first of all, give a message to the parents that uh, if they would like to enroll their kids into your program, uh, what they need to do. And then I want you to give a message to the youth as it relates to uh, sports, getting the education. Cascade Sports, we're home of the student athlete. And
Yeah.
I was negligent in mentioning to you how important do you stress getting a good education to your kids.
Okay. So parents, I'll start there. Parents, if you want to get your children involved, you can reach out to us on Facebook or Instagram at Dynasty Football KC. Uh, or you can go directly to our website. That's Dynasty and then YSC.org. Again, that's dynastysc.org. So again, being a rites of passage program, the focal point around our program is education. So the root word of education is educare, to bring out and to bring forth, right? So a true education, as we tell our boys and any youth that are listening, your education is up to you. What you do in the off time. So whether it's sports or whether it's your academics, what you put into it is what you'll get out of it. And education is all about discovering yourself. So with our program, again, we push our babies to limits they did not know they could meet. And it's a great thing when they get there, but we also gonna turn around and we're gonna double down on it, and we're gonna push them even further. Because what you draw out of them, again, something Coach Wainwright gave to me was, everybody say, oh yeah, nobody's perfect, right? But God don't make mistakes. So our job as men is to teach you the perfection that God made you. So it's a constant work, but education is the focal point, and you get out of it what you put into it.
All right, that's a perfect line to end this conversation on. And as we always say, when you investing in your community, you're really just investing in yourself. And for all you ballers, whether it's basketball, football, or Cracker Jacks, Cascade Sports, we go hard. And I mean, we go hard.
This program is brought to you by the City of Fountains Coaches Association.